Hey, welcome everybody to this edition of Talk with Sato. Today we are here with Cole. Cole, how are you?
I am very good, thank you. Yes.
Thank you for coming and talk. I think we are gonna talk like an hour about Bitcoin. Thank you for coming. So, well, Cole, I want to you to introduce yourself if you want to.
What do I do in terms of myself? With
Yeah, we can start with that.
I'm with Coinos. I'm head of business development, marketing, and promotion with onboarding businesses and onboarding users and ambassadors with Coinos so they can promote. And so the ambassadors and the users can promote Coinos and hopefully help onboard more businesses and users. Our main focus is brick and mortar businesses that have physical locations, preferably in busy areas that have a lot of Bitcoiners that live in the area, in the same
Okay,
area.
okay, that's cool. Well, I want to talk a little bit more about you. I'll, I'll look a little bit on the Coiners page, but I want to know when you started with Bitcoin and how you started with Bitcoin.
I started in Bitcoin late 2014, early 2015. And I first heard about it in 2013, but I just didn't take it seriously at all because I was like, what is this? It's weird. And a guy that I knew that I was working with at the time was using it to buy things on the Silk Road, dark web, the marketplace. I didn't really take him seriously as a person. I didn't really take what he was saying very seriously, as I just brushed it off. And then early 2015, I bought a little bit. I checked my wallet in December 2017 when someone else brought it up. I wasn't even following it. Someone else brought it up. I was at work and I was like, I opened up my Coinbase wallet. I was like, whoa, that's cool. Just seeing like your money go up, right? And then I ended up just kind of going really heavy into Bitcoin in 2020, like financially, just put a lot of my money in it. I had a lot of savings built up from my day job as a construction superintendent managing towers. So I had 4 towers under management, 35 employees, up to 35 employees on a daily basis. And that is where I just had money to invest into Bitcoin. I did that and then bought a bunch of mining machines in 2021 as well. Mined a lot. And I realized in 2022, well, 2020, in 2020, I realized that Bitcoin's the answer. I realized like this is the answer. This is incredible. This is decentralized money. I actually control my money. It's freedom. That's how I looked at it. I believed that so much that I put almost everything I had into it, into Bitcoin and mining machines, right? And it wasn't until and then in 2022, early to mid 2022, that's when I started taking the Lightning Network more seriously, right? And then I learned a little bit more about it and realized that the Lightning Network is really powerful, especially with helping Bitcoin scale as a transactional currency. With the Lightning Network, it can do millions of transactions per second. Visa and MasterCard can only do 2,000 approximately per second. But in a nutshell, up to now, and then from 2022 to now, we have Coinos has about 600 merchants worldwide and 70 in Vancouver that are using Bitcoin. So that's what we focus on the most is onboarding merchants. And that's what brings me to today, talking with you.
Okay, that's pretty cool. You have a good point. Is that basically I don't know if you heard about all the crypto mans or the crypto bros in the world who says Bitcoin doesn't have fastest transactions. You can send Bitcoin in 1 second as my crypto or things like that. And yeah, Lightning solve that. And if you don't want use Lightning, you have Liquid, and you can use Liquid on Coinos, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Liquid is cool. Yeah, I like Liquid because it's on chain and it also has some privacy features built into its blockchain that a lot of people don't know about. I find that pretty cool. It's not as decentralized as Bitcoin, of course. Lightning is also not as decentralized as Bitcoin, but Lightning is a great way to, you can do the transactions at any kind of store, any kind of merchant, and you're not waiting 10 minutes to 30 minutes for a confirmation. It's less than 1 second, right? Sometimes it's 1 second, but in many cases, when I'm sending someone a transaction from a Coinos wallet to a Coinos wallet, it's less than 1 second. Like as soon as my finger comes off of the button, it's like they already have it. It's crazy. Like as soon as my finger comes off of the send button, they already have it. So it's like, wow, that blows my mind. And there's no limit with how many transactions per second you can do with Lightning. The amount Bitcoin wise that you can transact, there's a limit to that. That's a separate kind of conversation. But the efficiency of Lightning is very impressive to me.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I want to talk a little bit about your interviews in the street of Canada. What inspired you to start doing street interviews about Bitcoin in Canada?
What inspired me to do the street interviews was that I just could see it being really entertaining. And if I saw these street interviews being posted online, I would laugh and I would like them. So that made me want to do it. I'm like, hey, I would watch it. And a lot of other people who have watched them online, they find them really funny as well. Because some of the answers you get from people are just hilarious, right? And it's about talking to the people in the right state of mind, the right frame of mind. You want them to be comfortable. Anyone you talk to when you're interviewing them, you want them to be very comfortable and confident. Sometimes a little bit of alcohol can help with that, right? So when you go, or if they don't have any alcohol with them, then if they're with a group of friends, that's very good because then they're just more confident in general when they're with a group of their friends. And then they get all rowdy and loud, and which it adds to the excitement and the entertainment. So what inspired me, it's that providing entertainment in the Bitcoin space. I don't see a lot of that right now in the Bitcoin space. And as I'm talking about that with you right now, I'm literally making myself more motivated to make more street interview videos. Like as I'm talking about it with you right now, yeah. Because it's just there's not a lot of that out there right now. And I have a really good relationship. Shout out to Rob at bitcoinnews.com and Lee, who used to be at bitcoinnews.com. He introduced me to Rob at bitcoinnews.com. So shout out to those guys. I'm grateful for the partnership I have with them. And of course, Coinos has helped the process be smooth with the Bitcoin street interviews. And shout out to Aubrey, the CEO of Beaver Bitcoin, beaverbitcoin.com. They were also a sponsor of me for the street interviews. So when you have multiple sponsors, that helps make it happen more, helps it go farther. So my motivation was the fact that I even had sponsors for the street interviews. That was a motivation in and of itself.
Yeah, for sure. That's interesting. Actually, I'm the current CEO of Bitcoin News, but in Spanish. There's bitcoinnews.com in English. So I'm the CEO of Bitcoin News, but in Spanish. I work with Rob.
Really?
So that's pretty cool.
So are you talking with Rob? Are you working with Rob?
Yeah, I work with Rob, but I run the Bitcoin News in Spanish things, and I made some interviews with Coinos on the Latin territory. As with Money on Chain, I made some like 3 or 4 weeks ago with Bitcoin News in Spanish, and are sponsored with Money on Chain, so that's pretty cool. And I actually was looking how to make probably 3 interviews. For me, it's a little bit strange. It's because in Colombia we are not so much able to do the thing that we do is literally walk on the street at night and talk with people, because sometimes there are some problems when you talk with someone that is drunk on the street here and all that. And so, but those interviews that you made, those are pretty cool. But I want to ask, how do people generally react? Sorry, when you approach them to talk about Bitcoin. I mean, in
How do I
street
generally
interviews.
Yeah, how do they generally react? I would say not very positive, the majority of them. But when you catch people in their element, right? When you catch people when they're really comfortable and confident with their friends, half the time they say yes, half the time they're into it and excited about having the interview. The reactions is like, oh no, I don't want to talk about that. Or they go for it and then they just kind of assume that they know. One of the main questions I ask them is, would you rather have one Bitcoin or $30,000 cash? And most of them say the cash. 90% of people say cash. And then some people are, I don't want to say the word smart, but some people are knowledgeable enough to know that Bitcoin is worth a lot more than 30 grand.
Yeah.
And those people will answer Bitcoin instead. So some of the responses is funny. Yeah, it's funny. And some of the people are just, they're drunk or they just say funny stuff and they're very enthusiastic.
That's very good. I don't know. If you want, we can put one interview that you made here in the stream. Yeah, if you want. Yeah, for sure. So
no, please. Yeah, you pick. Yeah, you pick.
Okay, well.
Yeah. Would you guys rather have one Bitcoin or $10,000 cash right now?
Obviously,
one Bitcoin. One Bitcoin. So you choose Bitcoin or?
I choose Bitcoin.
Hey man, how you doing?
Zaid bhai interview.
Yeah.
He's a boss.
Oh, is he really? That's awesome. Would you rather have one Bitcoin or $10,000 cash right now?
$10,000 cash, brother.
Why is that?
Cash is king.
Yeah.
Cash is king?
Yeah.
What? No, I thought cash is trash.
Because you know what?
Cash is trash.
You know what? In our store, we used to have a Bitcoin machine. And I every day saw them like, it's increasing, it's going up and up and up and up. And one day it comes down, boom. So 10,000 is going to be 10,000. Always.
But do you know how much one Bitcoin is
Fuck
worth right
that,
now?
man. I don't care. I'm just going to talk about...
If I was to give you $10,000 right now, what would you do with it? And you had to spend it tonight.
Because, money coming from that Bitcoin, so I'm going to spend 2,000 on Bitcoin and 8,000 I'm going to use.
On what? 8,000 used on what?
I'm going to just go to party. See how many friends I got.
Yeah.
That was funny. That was a good one.
That was pretty funny interview in the street. And I think that's an interesting thing because all the people maybe in Vancouver when they are at the night, they are comfortable talking a little bit about things without care while you're talking about what's pretty funny, the man. So you just literally arrive to that guys and talk about Bitcoin and randomly appears the boss and the boss like,
oh yeah, just randomly. Well, I approach people that are like in groups so that they're more confident and stuff. So that was a good group of guys. Yeah, we had other footage with those people as well. That was pretty fun. And also shout out to Jan 3 here. Shout out to Aqua. I got their. That's their.
You have the Aqua account. Really cool.
And I got a second one on order too. My second Aqua hat, and I'm gonna pay with Liquid.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
We're
gonna pay with Liquid with Coinos.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I have a question talking about Bitcoin interviews. How did you manage to explain Bitcoin in a short and simple way during these interviews? I think maybe you just explain it between 5 minutes or you just in 1 minute.
How do I explain it to like someone that doesn't understand it?
No, I mean, while you are making the interviews, when you approach the guest and say, "Hey, this is Bitcoin," maybe that doesn't appear on the interview, but maybe you do that.
Oh yeah, so I mentioned Bitcoin, but I don't ever go into like a big explanation of what it is. A lot of the time, they don't have a clue what it is, and that's what makes it funnier. The interview. Sometimes they kind of know. And we bumped into some people that kind of know what Bitcoin is, and it's funny because they make it funny as well. But I don't really explain Bitcoin that much to them before I do the video. I just tell them, I say, hey, let's do a fun interview together. It's about Bitcoin, finance. You're going to have fun. It's going to be really fun. And I just let them know that it's like going to be a good time. And come on, hey, and I give them a smile and just say, hey, let's do it. let's have some fun, and they're all in their element and stuff. So that's what makes it kind of like it makes it easier, yeah, to
Yeah,
talk to them. When you just be nice, say it with a smile, say let's have some fun. Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, I want to know what has been your most memorable interview on the street. Maybe I don't know if you make the interviews just in one city or in different cities or.
Yeah. So it's just been Vancouver regarding the street interviews. Some of the funniest ones have been. What's my favorite one? It's hard to say what my favorite one was, but the rapper was pretty funny. The Satoshi Nakamoto rapper. He said, "Wouldn't it be funny if we found out that Satoshi Nakamoto was Eminem?" Do you remember that one?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I remember that I saw that one on YouTube like a lot of time before I started doing that, and before knowing you. One time I saw you on Twitter. Hey, this is not the guy of the funny interview on YouTube. The man is rapping like Eminem and talking about Bitcoin and like shit.
Well, okay, actually, no. You know what my favorite one was? My favorite interview. My favorite interview was when I was talking to this university student, and this university student, he he was overconfident, like a lot of young university students are, right? And he kept saying, "I'm an academic. I'm an academic. I don't believe that inflation is as high as you say it is." I was saying it's like over 10% because you look at the price of so many things that are going up way beyond what they tell us with the CPI. So he doesn't understand what the hedonic quality adjustment is, obviously. Now, he was like, "I'm an academic, okay?" And he just kept saying that. And it was so funny because we posted that video online and so many people loved it. So many people loved it that he was that yeah, so many people love that. They just thought it was so funny because he's like saying he's so smart and that he's an academic. And a lot of people on Reddit, I mean, a lot of people loved it. On Reddit, we got like 50,000 views like within a day or less than a day or something on that. That was I think, our most watched video out of all the street. Well, I mean, the most, maybe not the most, but it was very widely watched. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And that was probably my favorite though. It was fun. It was getting kind of heated too. I had to like walk away because me and him were like getting into like some really heated arguments and stuff. So we had
that's really cool. Well, I want to ask you something that maybe could change my vision about Canada on Bitcoin. Have you noticed any change in public opinion about Bitcoin over years in Canada?
any change over Bitcoin. Have I noticed a change in Bitcoin over the years in Canada?
Yeah,
Is that your question?
yeah,
I've noticed a big change. The adoption has been increasing. The regulation in Canada is friendly towards Bitcoin. I'm happy about that. And I've seen the adoption grow. I've seen people in other areas of Canada increase their increase Bitcoinization in their other cities, in their other towns, right? Of Canada. So I've seen Bitcoinization spread a lot. I've seen it grow a lot. So I'm really happy about that.
because I want to discuss something with you. I was
Mental
like, I want to discuss something with you that maybe it's important. Like 3 days ago, I was talking with a friend about the population and the size of Colombia and the population and the size of Canada, and in which parts of Canada the people lives and in which parts of Colombia the people lives. And apparently, Canada is so much bigger, obviously, than Colombia. We have less population than Colombia. I want
Really?
to know.
I mean,
Yeah,
has that many people?
I think Canada have like Google told me that in Canada is 33 million of people, and we have in Colombia 55 million of people living in Colombia.
50,
55
55
million,
million?
and
That's
that
a lot
data,
of people in
yeah,
Colombia. Wow.
and that data
55
is not
million.
actualized. I think that data is from 2021, and we have more lot of people from other countries and more babies. So, and we, my friend told me that not so much people live in all Canada. You know, lives some for example, in Vancouver, in Quebec, in Toronto, and in Colombia, we have like more and more cities that people. If you think maybe in countries that people lives more near than other cities, I mean, when society is more near one each other, I think it's more easy to talk about Bitcoin and have more adoption of Bitcoin than, for example, in Colombia that we have from Bogota to Medellin are like 260 kilometers in a car, so it's like 10 hours to travel, and that's like one of the prettiest cities of Colombia to see. But you need to travel a lot to get there, and if you want to go and talk about Bitcoin and you don't want to pay travel in a plane and you want to go in a car, you need to stay in a car like 10 hours. Then, so do you think maybe in countries where the population is near and they are like a community, it's more easy to talk about Bitcoin and have more adoption?
I think it's easier to have more. I feel like Colombia would be a great place to do it. Um, I think it's definitely a good opportunity. I think if there's more people, it's easier to have more adoption. Yeah, I do think that. I think if there's more people, easier to have more adoption. But yeah, Canada is just so spread out. Canada is so big. There's so much room in Canada. There's so much space to build stuff in Canada, which I think is great. So when you look at like Colombia, I didn't know Colombia had that many people. I am blown away. That's a lot of people.
Yeah, we have a lot of people, and it's funny because the half of the country doesn't have people. So there are entire states that doesn't live more than half a million of people
Oh wow.
because we have some problems with violence and some problems with
Oh,
electricity, Wi-Fi things, and the people wants to be more city man, things like that. Well, well, that's a funny thing because it's like similar. The half of Canada, no one's lived there, and the half of Colombia, no one lived there. Well, I have a
it's how. And then in Colombia, where do you live? Medellin? Medellin?
in Bogota. Bogota is the capital,
Bogota. Okay.
and the people from United States, from other countries, like to come to Medellin. Not so much Bogota, but you have so much problems to have air in Bogota because we are like up 200, 236 kilometers, and in Medellin is more near to the ocean, and it's cheaper Medellin. Maybe it's more cheaper Bogota, but the people wants to go to Medellin because you are warm, you have pools, pool is very nice, you can see interesting things in Medellin, and you can find more Bitcoin in Medellin than in Bogota.
More Bitcoin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
I
there
feel
are a
like you
lot of
guys have
people
a great
coming.
opportunity there. You guys have a great opportunity there.
Yeah, I think it is possible that we have a little bit problems with the people of Colombia because they have like minded that they just want to be part of government things and they just want to be part of banks things, and Medellin is the city where a lot of banks born for Colombia. The Bank of Colombia was born in Medellin, and the BPN was born in a lot of banks. So it's a little bit hard, but there are people like me and like other friends in Colombia, and for example, the people of Money on Chain who comes from Argentina to Colombia and talk a little bit more about Bitcoin are doing something interesting. Maybe it's a little bit hard because the population in Colombia is a lot. So sometimes it's hard to take a lot of people and talk about Bitcoin, but there are some spaces that, for example, Money on Chain or Bitcoin communities made here in Bogota or in Medellin that the people just learn about Bitcoin. Another funny thing is that in the Bitcoin map, you can find a point in a city near to Ecuador that no one doesn't know what is that. It seems to be like a student put just a point, a random point in the map in Colombia, and you can go there. But if you want to go there, it's like uh, 20 hours in a car, or you can go on a plane for $350. But I want to know what the student was doing. But yeah, I think Colombia have opportunities for Bitcoin. And I think with Coinos will be the idea, and maybe with money on chain too. So, well, in terms of Latin American adoption with Coinos, do you think it's going well?
Yeah, I think it's going well. Yeah, for sure. In Latin America, you said?
Yeah,
Yeah,
in all Latin America.
yeah. I think it's going very well. I think it can get better, like anything else. But I think it's going really well, and we are only going to. Academics don't believe inflation is high, but a family home goes bad if you're very. Mateo, that's hilarious. Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, that's super funny. I love that. Um, so yeah, I feel like it's going good. It's going really well. I'm talking to another person. I just got off the phone with someone else yesterday. He's in El Salvador, so he's another ambassador for Coinos. He's going to try to onboard merchants there. Bitcoin adoption as a whole is doing extremely well with Latin America. Extremely well.
Yeah, and do you know which is the country that most use Coinos in Latin America?
What's that? What's that?
Which is the most country that use Coinos on Latin America without Mexico and without
Well,
maybe Brazil?
yeah, I think El Salvador. I mean, El Salvador has like three businesses. Guatemala, or no, sorry, Nicaragua has I think three businesses using us. So I would just say those. Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to get more of El Salvador, of course, right? But Blink has a monopoly over El Salvador right now. But I mean, I don't. That doesn't mean we can't get in there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, there just needs to be. I mean, that doesn't scare me away or anything. But what matters is that we need people there promoting it. That's what we need. Right?
yeah. It's strange that you have people in Nicaragua. If Nicaragua have a lot of government
Yeah,
problems,
yeah. We got
and
discovered by them. They just started talking to us. Yeah.
it's pretty cool because when you see that, you know that Bitcoin is making some change on those countries that have maybe problems with ideology and culture problems and government problems. Thank
Oh
you
yeah,
for
absolutely.
thank you for
Oh,
that. I didn't know that in
oh, it's
Nicaragua are people using Bitcoin.
oh, yeah, absolutely. And it helps these economies. Like Bitcoin really helps countries in poverty. El Salvador's economy has increased a lot.
Yeah,
It's improved a lot just from them adopting Bitcoin. Not because it's not just because you can spend your Bitcoin. It's because it's attracted so much international tourism. That's why.
yeah. I think that's such a good point for the governments who maybe wants to have Bitcoin on their country as a tourist thing. Because I was talking that with a government name here in Bogota that maybe we could do something with Bitcoins here in Colombia, similar to Sonte, because we have a near city that is called Chia. And we have an strange thing. I don't know if you know about the Athena Bitcoin ATMs.
Athena Bitcoin ETF? Athena?
ATMs.
Oh, no. What is that again? VPN?
Those are
Or
ATM, like when you withdraw cash and
ATM? Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I see. Cool. Okay. Yep.
We have like five in Bogota, seven in Medellin, some other principal cities of Colombia. But we have one in a city that is near to Bogota that is not so much bigger. It's a smaller thing. Literally, you can go in your car and go away from Bogota to the other city in 30 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, but not so much bigger. And Chia has one Bitcoin ATM. And I talked with the man of Chia and say, you can do something with Bitcoin in Chia because Chia is like the city for all the people who wants to make business. You can go with the partner with the man of business and talk in Chia if there are some good restaurants, good things. I said, well, you're gonna receive people from other countries who wants to talk about business, maybe in Colombia, and can spend with Bitcoin here in Chia, and you'll have a lot of economy. And we're talking with the man and trying to understand what is Bitcoin. I'll try to have maybe something similar to Sonte here in Colombia.
Nice. Good for you.
So I have maybe this is the time to make you some technical questions about coins. Are you ready for that?
Yes. Let's do it.
I have a question that I made when I woke up this morning. Um, I'm a user of Phoenix wallet with other wallet, and I have a problem with Phoenix. That is like you need to pay channels if you want to spend Bitcoin on Lightning, right? How do Coiners manage the channels thing on Bitcoin Lightning?
How does Coinos manage the liquidity, the channels? Like, you mean
Yeah,
liquidity
the
balancing?
yeah yeah the liquidity.
Yeah, so we do it manually. Yeah, we manage our liquidity manually. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. But doesn't seems to be like Phoenix that literally told you, hey, you don't have liquidity, you need to pay this channel because you don't have.
No, so I mean, it's not like that. Yeah, so Phoenix is a little bit different, right? So Phoenix is different because you have it on an app. Keep in mind, you're still using their, like, even though it's your own Lightning node, you're still using their like power, their server power, right? So if Phoenix disappears or whatever, you still have your seed phrase. You have your seed phrase from your Phoenix wallet, so that's good. So you can still recover it, but you can't really have. It's not an actual Lightning node in the same way as you having the physical device at your house, right?
Yeah.
So we just manually do the liquidity balancing. We don't have like an alert to tell us there is auto liquidity balancing tools for Lightning. They don't work as good as we want them to yet, but we are excited about maybe some auto liquidity balancing tools coming out soon that work really well. We're looking forward to that. But as of right now, it's just manual. So, like, if our liquidity is not balanced, then that means when you're using Coinos and you're trying to send a payment, it'll just not let you. It'll just have like an error.
Okay, that's cool because I think that's a bad thing when you're using Phoenix. For example, this morning I went to receive Bitcoin in
This
Lightning.
morning you went to where? This morning you went to.
This morning when I woke up, I was trying to receive a payment on Bitcoin Lightning, and Phoenix told me, "Hey, you don't have enough liquidity to receive the payment. You need to pay like 7,000 sats," and I didn't have. I
Oh,
think I had like two k in sats, so I was not able
oh
to
yeah,
receive it, and I received it on Coinos, and I used it on Coinos. So I have a,
nice.
I have a question about marketing and Coinos. Maybe a little bit strange. What strategies do you use to promote Lightning payments over on-chain transactions, maybe with normal people, business people?
Your question is what? Say, ask the question again. Sorry.
What strategies do you use to promote Lightning payments over on-chain transactions?
Well, I promote Lightning, and what studies do I use? Like studies, studies.
Strategies.
So, strategies. Okay. Um, I promote Lightning by telling people how efficient it is with the amount of transactions that it can do per second. It can do millions of transactions per second, whereas Visa and MasterCard can only do about 2,000 per second. So it blows them out of the water in that way. Also has no fees. Lightning Network itself. Actually, the Lightning Network itself has the Lightning routing fees. So if you send from Coinos to a different Lightning wallet, you mentioned Phoenix earlier, you'll pay a Lightning routing fee, which is just it means you're going from our Lightning channel to Phoenix's Lightning channel. So it's not much. Like you won't even really notice it. The Lightning routing fees. That's not coming from Coinos. So Lightning makes Bitcoin scale. It makes Bitcoin transact instantly anywhere you are in the world. So that's a big selling point that I use with Lightning. And Lightning's off-chain, more private as well. It's a big one.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I have another question. Can Coiners users easily switch between Lightning and on-chain payments? For example, I use I sometimes develop on Bitcoin and I try to receive Bitcoin on-chain payments, but I don't want always have to send on-chain to on-chain, on-chain to on-chain. Maybe I want to just receive on Lightning and spend on-chain. Is that possible?
Yeah, it is. It is a good question. So Coinos does that swap for you automatically. So if you hold up your Phoenix wallet, when Coinos scans your QR code, Coinos will detect that it's Lightning. If you want to hold up your ShakePay wallet or whatever other wallet, and it's on-chain Bitcoin, right? Coinos will scan your QR code. Coinos will detect that it's on-chain Bitcoin, and it will send you that. You hold up your Aqua wallet, and it's liquid. Coinos will detect that it's a liquid wallet, and it will send it on liquid. Coinos defaults to Lightning, so it will auto swap from Lightning into liquid and then send it to you. Coinos does that swap behind the scenes. Same with on-chain Bitcoin to Lightning. Coinos does that swap for you behind the scenes.
Okay, that's cool. Well, I want to know what has been the feedback from first-time users of Coinos regarding Lightning payments.
Feedback from the users. So Coinos does have problems sometimes, not very often. We've had issues in the past with our liquidity balancing, but we're better at that now. Our liquidity is balanced 99% of the time. Sometimes there's bugs that can happen like any other wallet. So if someone's at a merchant, they might not scan the QR code with their camera. Instead, they scan with their app. So now on the QR, well, not now, but what we've been doing is putting a label saying scan with camera in big letters on the QR code. We haven't put that on all the QR codes, but we're making sure we put that on all the QR codes. So when people scan with their camera, the QR code, it pulls up the merchant's Coinos wallet, and then you select Lightning or Liquid or on chain to pay. So that, I would say that was a hiccup down the road for us, but I think we're all good. Well, no, I don't think we have those issues sorted out now. And yeah, so we're also Coinos is going to be non-custodial soon as well. That's
pretty good. Yeah.
Have stated that. Yeah. So Coinos is going to have a non-custodial option, which is good. We don't want to force people to be non-custodial because custodial is really good for onboarding brand new users because it shows them how easy it can be to open up a Bitcoin wallet and transact with Bitcoin. So custodial is going to be the choice of most people at first. We're always going to educate people about non-custodial, right? But we do want to have the option. Having the options good.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's hard when you're trying to combine someone to start using Bitcoin, and you need the first step is to show what is a seed phrase, how many money it's worth, how the 39 works. So yes, it's more easy if you can choose if you want to be custodial or not custodial.
And when you show a newcomer about that seed phrase and stuff, they don't like it. Like they're like, oh no, it's too complicated. Like
yeah,
it happens a lot. I talk to newcomers all the time, no coiners, and onboarding new users. I talk to them all the time, right?
Yeah, they're like, well, where am I gonna store this seed phrase? When I'm gonna do with this? How that works?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a hard thing to answer sometimes. I want to know what's the most exciting thing you are currently working on for Coinos?
I would say developing partnerships internationally, and another exciting thing is us hosting 8 meetups per month in Vancouver per month. And at these meetups, it's a mix and mingle style, like just mix and mingle with everybody. And it's also business networking and education. So we always fit in some education for the Lightning Network, and we get people to use the Lightning Network. We get people to experience the Lightning Network at our meetups.
Okay, that's good. How many people attend to your meetups from the course?
Well, when I'm there on the so we have the meetups every Monday and Thursday. Okay. On the Thursday meetups, I put more attention on those ones. I used to put a lot of attention on the Monday meetups as well, but now I focus on the Thursday meetups mostly. And when I'm promoting it hard, we get over 20 people. We get 20 people or more every time when I'm like actively promoting it and when I'm there. When I'm not there and I'm not even promoting it and I just let it run, I just let it do its thing, it's about 10 people. Sometimes we've had 5 people show up on the Thursday meetups. On the Monday meetups, we have consistently, on average, 10 like 8, 13 or something. So on average, 10, 11 for Mondays. And the Thursday ones are more of a educational aspect. The Monday ones are more casual mix and mingle. Yeah, and it's good. It's good. We brought on business owners. We brought on ambassadors, Coinos ambassadors at these meetups that we're having and stuff. So it's really been helping. It's helped a lot.
Yeah, that's pretty cool and it's interesting. Maybe someone in Colombia want to do that. Maybe I'll do that here in Colombia because sometimes I'm not able
Oh
to.
yeah.
Yeah, I think we don't have so much meetups of Bitcoin here in
If
Colombia.
you had more, if you had more meetups, that would be really helpful for you to help
Yeah,
expand like the Bitcoinization in Colombia. The
yeah,
meetups, and I mean, if I was there, that man, like if I was there, like I'd be like hosting meetups there all the time. Like I'd be rounding people up all the time. Like I'm out and about all the time, meeting people, so I can round up people easily, right? Like you got a lot of opportunity there because you have so many people, which is quite
yeah,
impressive. I would just be concerned about danger.
yeah. That's a good thing. But yeah, we have a population in Bogota more than 1 million of people, so you have a lot of opportunities with a lot of people around all Bogota. Maybe sometimes the problem is where to do that, because sometimes you want to do that on some Bitcoin stores, but it's not so much near where people live, or they don't want to go some days. You just need to do that like 1 time per month, and not so much people go. And when people go, it's like the same people of all the meetups. But yeah, maybe making some more interesting marketing on that, so we can have more people. Because I think the only Bitcoin meetups that currently are running on Colombia is just the Bitcoiners from other countries. Like there are people in Medellin, people from the United States or Canada who make meetups in English, Bitcoin in Medellin. Well, not so much Colombian people goes because it's not culture to learn English. So you're gonna go and say like, I didn't understand anything. I'm here drinking alcohol with someone that I didn't know talking about Bitcoin. But yeah, that's an interesting idea. So you're making meetups, but just in Vancouver, or your ambassadors around the world are starting with that, or the idea is starting next month.
They're around the world. Ambassadors are around the world. I'm onboarding ambassadors on a regular basis in different countries internationally. Our focus is Vancouver. We have ambassadors in Vancouver that are out there walking around, talking to merchants and stuff. And I also talk to ambassadors east of Ontario, and not even just east, but like in between, all across Canada. We're talking to people. I'm not talking to anybody in Saskatchewan though. Yeah, so I'm talking to that's like a province that is kind of not as much going on. I think but yeah, I'm talking to people in a lot of provinces in Canada.
Yeah, but
I'm also not talking to anybody in PEI or
yeah,
Newfoundland either. But yeah, but I'm talking to people across Canada. Yeah.
that's good. That name for me is a little bit funny, the Saskatchewan, because I think I learned English like some months ago, and I remember some years ago that there's a movie of Adam Sandler with there's a man, Moscow man, that is from Saskatchewan. I haven't explained it, but it's pretty funny. But I mean, Saskatchewan is in the middle of Canada, so it's more harder to go there and talk about Bitcoin. Maybe there's not so much
Yeah,
population, so it would
I'd
be
be down
harder.
though to if someone wanted to fly me out there to talk at their conferences or at their class or conferences, meetups, events. I would go 100%. I would go anywhere. Yeah, as long as it's safe, I'd go there.
That's pretty cool. Well, want to ask a little bit about the histories. Can you share any success histories of Coinos users benefiting from line payments or liquid or ocean
Yeah,
payments?
so the first one of the first merchants in Coinos's history was a catering business, and they tripled their income in a year. Well, yeah, they tripled their income in a year because the Bitcoin they got paid, they didn't sell, and it tripled in value.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good. So that's a good success story. And there's a few other stories like that too, where people were getting paid in Bitcoin. They were just like getting paid in Bitcoin early in 2022, 2023. They just didn't sell. So the fact they didn't sell, that's what made them have a lot more profit just from Bitcoin going up. And there's a bunch of business owners in Vancouver who have been orange pilled from accepting Bitcoin as payment. So they have become orange pilled. They have become believers in Bitcoin from them starting to accept Bitcoin as payment. That's how
pretty
that
cool.
that's a really great success story with Bitcoin
Yeah.
merchant adoption in Vancouver. Is the business owners becoming orange pilled after they sign up with accepting Bitcoin as a payment option. Most businesses I talk to are not into Bitcoin at all, or they might be curious about it, but they weren't taking it seriously. So when they start accepting it as a payment option, and then they start getting more customers paying in Bitcoin, they see
Yeah.
that it's popular, right? They see that it's real. So when you put all those things together, it really helps orange pill more people. So those are some success stories.
Yeah. That's cool because when sometimes that happens, the merchant will go and take a book of Bitcoin and learn more about Bitcoin, or maybe the kids that go to that store and see something about Bitcoin, say, "Hey, this is interesting." I'll go to home and take my phone and learn a little bit about Bitcoin. I want to ask something about that. I saw you on a gas station in Canada, and you combined the CEO of the gas station. How that was? I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting in comparison of things that Bitcoiners can do here about gas stations.
So the gas station was a big thing. That was in Niagara, in Ontario. So that was huge. That was huge. Getting that the gas station was history in Canada. So we were really happy about that.
That's cool. And you, how much time you talking with the man of the gas station to try to combine him about
So when
Bitcoin?
I was talking to the guy at the gas station, uh, he said no. Like first thing he said was no. When I talked to him, I said, hey, like, what do you want to accept? Can I pay for my gas in Bitcoin? You want to do it? You want to accept it? And he said, the first thing is like, no. He's like, I'm not really set up for it. It's a little complicated. So what I did is I just like I didn't take no for an answer in a nice way, and I was like, well, it's actually really easy. All you got to do is this and that. Make an account, a Coinos account in 30 seconds, and have it at your till, right? And just show it to the customer when they want to pay. Document it as cash in your cash register, your cashier,
Yeah.
and then that's how you can start accepting Bitcoin as payment. It's really easy. So when I laid that out for him and I showed it to him in detail, that's when he became like he was like, okay, sure, and he was happy that he did. He was happy that he did.
That's pretty cool. Because if you think about that, probably the guy of the gas station is earning more accepting Bitcoin payments because the gas price all the days change. So
Yep.
sometimes he will get more
Yeah,
money
he'll get
for
more.
selling
Yeah, so
Bitcoin.
the price of gas is volatile, but I mean the price of Bitcoin is volatile too. But whenever he presents the Bitcoin wallet to the customer, then he's typing in the Canadian dollar amount. That's what he's typing in. So $93.77. So he types that in, whatever that number is in the Bitcoin conversion. Coinos does that conversion for them.
That's good. You don't need to start. You don't need to go to Google and say how much is
You don't need to
$3.
no calculator stuff. No calculator, nothing. No
It's much
Coinos.
so much easier just putting on the Canadian dollar.
Yeah.
And
No, Coinos does that conversion.
it's interesting. I didn't remember that Canadian Canada have another different dollar, the United States dollar, and Coiners have. I think all the what do you say that of the currencies. And
As
yeah, yeah,
currencies, all the currencies, So it's
in the
got the
world. Okay.
Colombian bowl.
Yeah, I have
Yeah,
mine converted with Colombian currency, and it's pretty cool. You
nice,
will see a lot of numbers, but it's pretty cool. Because you saw the liquid price, it's pretty cool.
nice.
Yeah,
No, that's
I
that's
want
good.
to ask something about Coinos. Is what's your view on the growing competition in the Lightning wallet space?
What's the view of the growing what? Sorry?
What's your view on the growing competition in the Lightning wallet space?
In the what's my view of the climbing in the what space? The
Your 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 view on the growing competition in the Lightning wallet space. I mean,
and the
versus
lightning wallet
all.
space.
Yeah,
Yeah, no. The growing competition in the lightning wallet space. I'm not too concerned about it because Coinos has the lowest fees in the world. It's the easiest to use. The interface is so simple. I don't see anybody else with a wallet as good, as easy to use, right? That's what makes me like it. That's what makes me not be afraid of the competition. Yeah. Like the
yeah,
competition is, there's a lot of lightning wallets that are way bigger than us. Fair enough. But
yeah. I mean, it's like all the markets. Maybe you are offering something that other doesn't offer, and it's
yeah,
better.
what we offer that other wallets don't offer is that we give your business free marketing and promotion if you sign up with us and use us. We give you that, and we have the lowest fees in the world with 0.1%, which is what Coinos charges you only when you withdraw from your Coinos wallet to an external Bitcoin on-chain wallet. So like a Bitcoin wallet that is not Lightning, for example, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. And for me, Coinus offers something special for the people of Latin America that is you can reside on chain and Lightning and liquid cheaper than other wallets, and you can store it and you can
You
have
save,
a pretty
yeah,
interface with that.
and like you save money, right? Like that's the whole thing about it is that you save money with it,
Yeah,
right?
that's right. Yeah. So, well, I want to ask something about coins and Canada, maybe governments or in Canada or maybe in other countries, like with you about, hey, you need to stay with the regulations of my country. I have some different regulations you need to put that on Coinos, or you never hear about that, or
Let me. Sorry, my window messed up. Ask that question again. Sorry.
okay,
Sorry.
in Canada, no, worries about that. Maybe in Canada, the government talk with you guys about regulations, or maybe in other countries that happen.
The government talk to us about regulations. No, we are a
Yeah.
regulated money service business with FinTrack in Canada, which is good. So
Okay. So there's no problem like other wallets that you need. If you are a citizen of X country, you can use your Bitcoin wallet. You can use it in all countries
anyone
of the
can
world.
use our. No, a good question. Good question. Any
Yeah.
any country can use us if Bitcoin is legal in their country. Yeah.
Okay. That's important because sometimes you download Lightning wallet and says you can use this in your country because it's not available. Or the governmental regulation of your country doesn't allow us to offer your service. That's that's interesting. Want to know to for the end of this podcast, which will be your recommendation or your advice for all the people who is trying to learn about Bitcoin, and maybe the first advice is how they can connect with Bitcoin, how they can learn about Bitcoin, and the second question will be which will be your advice for the people who wants to use coins but they maybe are a little bit scared about that, have questions about that.
Yeah. Do we have any? Like, what was that again? What was like? Do we have any?
Want to know your first advice for the people who want to learn about Bitcoin? Which will be your
Yeah.
advice for the people?
Yeah, they can go to our homepage, coinos.io, and then they go to the bottom of our homepage. And the bottom of our homepage is our link tree. And then you can see some how-to videos there on the YouTube page. How-to videos there. So that's good.
And which will be your advice for the people who maybe a Bitcoiner level middle who wants to use Coinos, but maybe it's a little bit scary, maybe have some questions. Which will be your advice for that Bitcoiner?
If they have some questions, they can reach out to me directly, easily on Noster. Like I encourage that. Yeah, please reach out to me on Noster if you have questions, for sure.
That's an interesting point, and I want to talk about that. Is that Coinos is not so much longer in X, is now on Instagram and Nostr. That's interesting. Why Coinos just now use just Nostr and Instagram and no longer X?
Well, that's because we believe in the decentralization aspect, right? That's what that's about. Whereas on Twitter isn't as like decentralized, right? Twitter has a reputation, right? So Twitter like Nostr is a movement. They have 1.7 million users, I believe, right now. And
So people,
yeah, they have 1.7 million users now, and they really pride themselves on decentralization and privacy. What I like a lot about Nostr is that you're not censored and there's no algorithms that are coded into it that prevent you from seeing what they want you to see.
yeah,
Twitter has algorithms to control what you see,
yeah,
and that you don't see these algorithms working. Nostr doesn't have those algorithms. Nostr is decentralized, right? Now, the fact that it's decentralized, you also have to be careful. You have to be careful when you type something in Nostr. It's hard to delete it. You can't just right click a button you can't just right click a button in the corner and then delete your post. No, you have to create a deletion event, and it's complicated for the average user. It's not user friendly for that. So just be for that aspect. It's not. But so just be careful when you're using Nostr. Just when you type something. Just know it's burned on their network, okay? Even when you create that deletion event to delete your post, technically it's not fully deleted still. It's still there. It exists on someone's relay. And that's how Nostr works. Nostr's all about relays and stuff, which is cool. It's very decentralized. It's a movement. It's a growing movement. I think it's great to have for the Bitcoin space. It's growing in popularity at a very fast rate. I'm impressed with it, and we get good engagement over on Nostr. I recommend that everyone try out Nostr. It's really fun. There's a lot of engagement over there. We're getting pretty decent engagement on Nostr, similar even to Twitter on some of our posts. I was pleasantly surprised about that, and we just want to make a point, right? We want to make a point that we support the movement of Nostr, decentralization, no algorithms censoring what we see and stuff like that. And we deserve that, like as humans, we deserve that right.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe the thing with the delayed post, that's the price of decentralization. Oh, well,
Maybe what?
maybe
what?
that's the price of the decentralization. You can't delay the post, but that's the price of decentralization. That's the cost.
Decentralization. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's those are some hard things about decentralization and Nostr and Bitcoin that maybe we just need to be careful with that things. And right now we are on Nostr Live. That's other interesting thing. We are on X, but we are on Nostr. It's called SAP. That's pretty cool. It's like Twitch, something like that. But it's really some Nostr, so no one's will ban us, and we just literally appears on the first page if you enter the link. we appear in the free space. So there's no algorithm like an X or Twitch that shows you, hey, this girl is showing I don't know, it's talking about her life. When there are some most interesting things in that one. Well, thank you so much for coming here, like a little bit with me about Bitcoin, about Coinos, about decentralization.
Yeah, no, it was fun. It was fun.
We had one. I think
Yeah, it
we
was
talked
fun meeting you and talking with you.
yeah, thank you so much. We talked about a lot of things. We talked about coin and we talked about governments, about size of Canada and Colombia. We talked a lot of things. So thank you so much. And want to ask which is now the how the people can search Coinus on Nuster, how they can find Coinus in Nuster.
How can they find Coinos and Nostr?
Yeah.
So they can find us. It's just Coinos. Sorry. Yeah, it's just Coinos. That's all it is.
Okay, cool. And it shows the appears the
It's
Coinus
just
logo.
Coinos at Coinos.io. It's just Coinos at Coinos.io. That's our
Okay, cool.
Nostr is just Coinos at Coinos.io.
Okay, cool, perfect. Well, cool. Thank you so much for coming here, staying here, and thank you so much for money on chain and for doing this show. Stay tuned next week for the next talk with Sato, and goodbye.
Okay, have a good one, Jen.